Alright, problem 6, writing in simplified form. Notice in problem A, everything is kind of jumbled together. What we need to do first is fix everything to exponential form. Put that down. Put in exponential form first. You ready? That's 8, negative 8 to the first, x to the first. But then you have an x to the 1/2 and a y to the 1/2. So what I need you to do, and all of this is to the 2/3, what I need you to do now is combine these two together first. So you get negative 8 to the first, x to the, what's 1 plus 1/2? 1 plus 1/2 is 3/2. And then y to the 1/2, and then the 2/3. Now you will distribute. So now distribute. So you get negative 8 to the 2/3, x to the, and I'm just multiplying as I go in here. 3 over 2 times 2 over 3. 3 over 2 times 2 over 3 is a whopping 1. And 1 over 2 times 2 over 3, again, 1 over 2 times 2 over 3 is 1/3. Now this is not in simplest form. What we need to do next is remember that this is the cube root of negative 8 squared. This is just an x, and this is the cube root of y. The cube root of negative 8 is negative 2, which we'll have to square, with x with the cube root of y. Negative 2 squared is 4, with the x with the cube root of y. You have to put all of your steps together in this section. Give the 16 a 1 and distribute in. There's no radicals to fix, so put this down. There's no radicals to fix, so distribute. So I get 16 to the negative 3 over 4, and I get y to the, what is negative 8 times negative 3 over 4? So if you're wondering how I'm doing, you ready? You just do negative 8 times negative 3 over 4. Okay, so it's going to be a 6. Now we got to fix this. You ready? Y to the 6 stays on the top. 16 to the 3 over 4 goes to the bottom. Let's keep working. That's y to the 6, the 4th root of 16, but we're going to have to cube it. Ready? That's y to the 6 over 2 to the 3rd. That's y to the 6th over 8. Let's keep going. What is each expression in simplest form? Same story here. The 8 has a 1. So you do 8 to the negative 1/3 and x to the, what is 15? You're distributing. What is 15 times negative 1/3? Negative 5. Okay, we have negative exponents. I hope by now that you know that means it goes to the bottom. So I get 8 to the 1/3 and x to the 5th. So that makes 1 over the cube root of 8 and x to the 5th, which equals 1 over the cube root of 8 is 2, and you're left with x to the 5th. Part B. We need to fix the square root first. To fix the square root, let's rewrite. You get 9 to the 1st, x to the 1st, y to the 1/4. All of that will be to the 3/2 power. Now you need to distribute. That's 9 to the 3 over 2. That's x to the 3 over 2. And that's y to the, what's 1/4 times 3 over 2? 3 over 8. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to fix 9 to be the square root of 9, which we need to cube. Now here's a trick. Do you see that our denominators do not match? We have to make denominators match. Where can I fit this in? Make denominators match. Sorry I didn't leave you enough room here. So we're good with the 9. Now to make those denominators match, we're going to have to make x to the 3 over 2. We're going to have to make that 12 over 8 to make our denominators match. That's the same thing as 3 over 2. And y to the 3 over 8. The square root of 9 is 3. I'm going to have to work right here now. The square root of 9 is 3, which needs to be cubed. Now watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to draw a big square root. I'm going to have an index of 8. Inside I'll have x to the 12th. And I'll have y to the 3rd. We're almost done. This is the most miserable problem, I promise. 3 cubed is 27. Now think about this. How many groups of 8 are in x to the 12th? One group of 8. And I'm going to have 4 left over. Remember that this is the 8th root. And I'm also going to have y cubed left over because I can't pull any out. Now don't get stressed out about this problem. Don't get upset. Just look it over. Rewrite it down if you need to. Alright guys, we're on our way. These will go a lot faster than the past 4, I promise. On problems that look like this, you add. So you need to know how to add 2/3 plus 4 over 9. That makes, if you don't know this, that's a whole nother discussion that we need to fix. 10 over 9 when you add. On problems that look like this, you multiply. 2 over 3 times 2 is x to the 4 over 3. Let's keep going. 27. X to the 4 over 7 times 7 is x to the 4th. And multiply. Problems like 28, you need to distribute and multiply. You get negative 3 to the negative 1 power. You get x to the negative 2/3 power. What happens with this? Okay, you get 1 over. Now your negative stays up top. 3 to the 1st, x to the 2/3.
I will be in here today.
When you have negative exponents. Number 29. You keep the 5 on the outside, and you get x to the negative 2/3 when you distribute in your parentheses. Fix your negative exponent to be 5 over x to the 2/3. Problem 30, when there's no parentheses. Fix your negative exponent. So 5 to the 1/2 is going to be on the bottom. And we'll leave it 5 to the 1/2. 8's on the top, x to the 2/3 on the top, and x to the 1/6 is on the top. Add your exponents. 2 over 3 and 1 over 6. Add to 5 over 6. So you get 8, x to the 5 over 6, 5 to the 1/2 on the bottom. 31 has parentheses, so you need to distribute. So you distribute like that, and you get x to the negative 1 and y to the negative 4 over 3 because you are multiplying. Those are both negative, which means they both go in the denominator. That's x to the first power, y to the 4/3 power. Distribute and multiply again. That's x to the -2 power when you multiply, and y to the -1/2 power when you multiply. Both are negative, which means they go on the bottom. X squared, y to the 1/2. Last page. 33. Distribute in. Multiply. X to the -2/3 times 5 is x to the 10th, -10. Y to the -1/3 times 15 is y to the -5. See how they're both negative? That means they just flip-flop, and it's y to the 5th over x to the 10th. Example 34. There's no parentheses, just combine. Okay? So you see that 2? That 2 just comes out in front. Now with the x's, you're going to add, ready? Write this down. Add the x's exponents. So I do 1/4 plus -3/4 is -1/2. And then y is just 1/2. Well, that's 2 and y to the 1/2 on the top, and x to the 1/2 on the bottom. Last two problems, and we're done. Okay, which one of these is bigger? This one is bigger. That means the x's go on bottom. What about the y's? Well, before we do anything with the y's, we need to move that one up. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep everything the same, except y to the 3/10 is going to move to the top. And x to the 5/8 is going to stay on the bottom. What I need you to do now is add these ones, because they're on the same level, and you're going to subtract these ones because they're on different levels. Okay, 5/8 minus 1/4. 5/8 minus 1/4 is 3/8. And you put your answers on the bottom because it's bigger on the bottom. 1/5 plus 3/10 makes 1/2 on the top. $36, and we're all done. Yay. All right. 36, you can multiply your exponents together first, or you can flip things around. The first thing we are absolutely going to do, you see 16/8? We're rewriting this, and then we'll distribute. What is 16/8? 2, right? So now we'll keep everything the same. Now, how about we keep it consistent? We'll keep everything the same, and then we'll distribute it in, and then we'll fix stuff. All right, let's distribute in. Every single thing gets multiplied by -3/2. You know what? Let's make life easier on ourselves. Instead of distributing in, let's let's distribute in. All right, so we get 2 to the -3/2 power. X to the, okay, you ready? We're going to do -10 times -3/2, 15. Y to the 6 times -3/2, -9. Ready for the bottom? Negative 4 times negative 3 over 2, 6. Last one is the y. 2 times negative 3 over 2 is negative 3. Alright. See these two? They're going to get flip-flopped because they're negative. And this one's going to come to the bottom. So I will leave x to the 15th on the top and bring y to the 3rd on the top. I'll bring 2 to the 3 over 2 on the bottom, along with the x to the 6 that was already there, and the y to the 9th. Now the last thing. Ready? Last step on the whole paper. Cancel out what cancels. The x's are bigger on the top. The x's are bigger on the top, so 15 minus 6 is x to the 9. The y's are bigger on the bottom, so that's y to the 9 minus 3 is 6 on the bottom. Don't forget you had 2 to the 3/2 power. Alright, that's it. I know you're excited about trying it in class.